Well, heaven help you, because somehow, some way, the algorithm dropped you off on the John Freitag channel. So, this is what I'm doing today. The Empress insists that I make some shelving for behind the bar down at the barbecue. So, that's what I got to work on today. So, here's my evil plan. I'm going to double this. It's 3/4 inch CDX. And I'm going to make double thickness shelving. But you know what? I probably don't really have to. I'm gonna. Because my other choice would be to put a breadboard on, which I do have material for that. So I'm going to do a double thickness. I'm going to line 3 sides. The side against the wall won't get it. But the other 3 sides, I'm going to rip this to 1.5 inches, enough pieces to go around the whole thing. And we're going to paint it black. And then we're going to hang it on this. Simple pipes coming out of the wall. Just like that. And there's 4 holes, hole there. I'll catch it with some wood screws into the stud. You'll be able to do chin-ups on it. So that'll make the shelf very strong. Originally, I was going to build around with pipe and all that, but man, it's running into money. I've already got enough to do 3 shelves. It's probably costing me about $70 in pipe. So that's going to be my shelf brackets. Now, these things are covered with oil, so I got to clean them up before I paint them. Whew, wow, these things are oily. I think this ought to clean them up. Oh, Connor's got his radio on. It's playing something. Anyway, commercials. So I'm figuring this out for doing my place to hang stemware. So I'm just spacing these out. It looks like I need to cut 1 more of these strips. And then what I'm going to do is I got some Luan, and I'm going to cut strips that'll go over that and then leave a channel, and hopefully that'll work. But, yeah. What you say?
You're not doing anything the way I would do it, but yeah, you ought to glue in there.
I should have just hired you to do it.
Probably should have.
I know I should have. I don't like doing it anyway. So I need 1 more. I got to put 1 more of these things here. Yeah, you're going to see when I'm done, and you're going to be like, oh, man, that is so awesome.
No, I get it. Completely.
What?
I understand.
I'm not sure he does. Can't be playing music in the background of my film.
The rights to that one?
No, I don't want to buy the rights. I wouldn't know who to talk to. Z, or Top?
One died.
Oh, well, won't talk to him then.
Billy Gibbons is still alive.
Who?
Billy Gibbons.
Oh, Billy Gibbons. I don't know who that is. Okay, so I got my shelves made, 3 of them. And I've got these made and painted. So tomorrow, I think we'll do a little more painting first thing and a little some assembly. But yeah, this ought to work. I think it'll work. I hope it works. I was working on these shelves yesterday, and I got a coat of paint on them. I think what I'm going to do first, I'll put another coat of paint on them. Then I'm going to work on another little project, which is making a fitting that will turn my regulator into a remote secondary regulator. So it's just a fitting to hook up a gas hose to it, but it's left tread. Couldn't find a fitting for it. So I'm going to get the paint in these parts so they can sit in here and dry. It's a little chilly in here. It's like 55. That's what I have it set at. And I have a radiant floor heat system in this place, which I think I have a video of putting that in here. But anyway, so I can't just turn it up and have it be just warm in here instantly. It'd take a day or 2. So we're going to have to paint at 55 or see if it works. It seems to have worked last time, because the thing about the radiant floor heat is it's steady. It just stays 55 in here. It's just 55. If I turn it up to 60, within a couple days, it'll just be 60. And that's what it'll do. But anyway, I got these parts painted last night on my way out the door. And they're dry. You know, it's paint. It's sticking to it. I always get paint and primer anymore. I don't see any point not getting paint and primer. This could have had a little heavier first coat on it, but that's okay. We'll get the second coat on there. We'll lay it on there pretty good and thick. And then there's this shelf here, which looks like I got this one covered up a little nicer. Now, these shelves are not fancy by any means. I mean, it's CDX plywood, which is basically your lowest grade. You know, C on one side, supposedly, and whatever DX is. Probably it's D unknown. That's what X would be standing for, I would imagine. But anyway, and it's not like fine carpentry or anything. I mean, it's gonna be black. So it's gonna be black against a wall, and it's gonna be black, and that's what it's gonna be. Okay, and here's the other one, and that's not looking too bad. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get, like I said, I gotta get some paint, more paint on it, and then I think we'll be good. You know what? I'm gonna put that other shelf on here so I can paint them both together. I think that'll work better. Well, since I'm incredibly frugal, A little bit of paint left in here. I just put it upside down on the board. Ooh, it looks like it might be enough to paint this board. Okay, we're gonna leave that there. That's a little bit of paint. I'm gonna open up this paint can right here, and like I always do, I'm gonna throw a couple holes in the rim so that the paint will drain back out of the groove when I put the lid on, back into the bucket. That way you don't get so much of a problem with the lid sticking up. You know, if I have to open this can repeatedly and use it a few times, that's what winds up happening. And that is what's gonna happen with this can, because I'm not gonna use this black all that much. Looks like I need to give this a little stir. I had it shook up yesterday down at New Milford Hardware, but could still use a little stir. All right. Okay. Put a couple of holes in the can lid. I think 3 ought to do it. Good enough. Well, I think I wrung that can out good enough. And also, since I'm so incredibly frugal, I wrapped up the roller from yesterday and threw it in the fridge. Because that'll keep it good. I also put the old roller cover back on, which I don't think I'll be reusing that, because that's going to get pretty painty. So this thing's probably just as good as new, I hope. Let's see. Oh yeah, rolls paint. That's good enough. Look at that. Get some paint rolling around here. Nice heavy coat. I want it kind of heavy on there. Try to take up some of the texture of the cheesy plywood I put on, that I used. That is more than enough paint. All right. Yep, I don't want to waste that paint either. Paint's gotten expensive. Well, you know, everything has. But paint's gone up quite a bit. This is now 60 bucks, where a couple years ago it was 40. So, here we go. More expensive stuff. I guess we can all complain about pricing. I don't know if it's things are getting more expensive or our money is just going down, which I'm afraid that is the case, which is a bad thing. Funny little story, my dad grew up in the Weimar Republic in Germany. And he told me once he was a millionaire. I said, really, what you do with all the money? He said, I bought a loaf of bread. He said, well, that's something. That was Deutschmark. And they printed too many of them and overinflated them. And the next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. Only problem is $1 million didn't buy you a whole lot. A million mark, that is. So on the paint can, it says it should dry in 2 hours, but I laid it on super thick, and it's also 55 in here. So I think that might slow it down quite a bit. I may have to come back tomorrow. I know Christmas Day in the morning, just for an hour, and I'll throw on another coat of paint. Only it'll be on the other sides now. I got to paint those too. So another project, and that's cutting threads on a fitting I got to make. Okay, so this is what I got. In another video, I took this out of a regulator that I want to use, and it's got the reverse thread over here. Now, I can't find a fitting, which I would need like this. This is actually the opposite because it's female, but I need a fitting like this with the barb so I can hook a hose to it, to the regulator to hook it in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try anyway, is I'm going to cut this off. And then I'm going to tap it and see if I can put this on there, and then I get my reverse thread here and I have my fitting. I may have to get the lathe out because I think this feels a little bit bigger. But let's see what happens. First I'll cut it off and we'll see if I can just shred it. We'll do it the easy, simple way first. And that would be just tossing it in a vise and sawing it off with a hacksaw. Okay, well, I cut that off pretty nice and square. This camera doesn't focus unless, I don't know. Anyway, I cut this off pretty nice and square. Let's see if I can run that tap on there. Well, I got complications already. This won't fit over this stud. So I got a feeling it's gonna be too big. I'm gonna have to turn that down, I think. So I'm gonna put the die in the die holder backwards. That means I don't have my guide. But let's see if we could just get it started. I guess I could get my caliper out and mic it and see, but let's see. Let's see if I can get this started on there. Probably, I don't think I can. I don't think it's gonna work. And I gotta start really square. Wow. No. Not even close. Huh. Guess it's time to see what sizes we're working with. Oh, I'm in millimeters. I don't understand that language. Oh, 0.560. Now, I don't know what the nominal size is supposed to be honest. Ooh, I'll have to find a 1/4 inch piece of pipe to compare it with, I guess, a fitting, so I know. Let's see what this mic's out at. Not much smaller. 0.530. And this side is 0.562. So what's that mean? 30 thousandths too big, I guess? I think we're gonna play around with the lathe a little bit and see if we can get it closer. So Connor bought this old lathe from the high school. They were just getting rid of it. They wanted it gone. Connor said, okay, I'll take it. And we went down and loaded it up and he bought it. It's funny they don't need it at the school, but I guess everything they got at the school is computerized and all that kind of stuff, if they're even doing this kind of thing, because let's face it, we don't do a whole lot of this hands-on kind of stuff anymore. But let's see what I can do. Now there's a couple things I got to do. I've never really used this lathe. I've never really used a lathe. I got the principle. I've used brake lathes, but let's see what happens. Maybe I'll have a real disaster. But what I'm looking at is the end of this is not square. So I want to square that up. And it looks to me like I got to turn this down about 30 thousandths of an inch because I want to be 0.530 and not 0.560. So that's what I'm going to play with right now. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can get this thing to work. I don't know. This is easy enough. I can figure the chuck out. I just got to clamp this in the chuck. Chuck's closing up. Get her spinning forever. Now this is total newbie stuff for me. Boy, the last thing I want to do is goof up those reverse treads. That's the reason I'm doing this whole thing. So bear with me. I guess there's only one place to tighten it. And you obviously don't want to turn this thing on with the chuck in there. You're going to have a real problem. So got to remember to take that out before you turn anything on. So I've got this little cutting tool in here. I'm going to manipulate it over so that it gets to the end of this and I can go across that and just trim it. Let's see. That's going that way. This is going this way. Now, how do I want to do this? Now, I'm telling you, I'm a newbie at this. I have no idea. I just want to go straight across it and just trim it off. That's all I want to do. And I think I got it set pretty good. And then what I'll do is I'll just slightly roll this back so it hits. It's hitting there. And then very gently go across the thing. I don't want to do anything drastic, that's for sure. Just barely starting to touch it. Just shave a little bit off. Barely touching it. Wow, I don't know. I'm going to back it out, advance it a hair more. Whoa, maybe too much. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, great. Let's see. I think I did it. I could go a little more. You can see where it's not perfect, but you know what? It's close enough for what I'm doing. So now I got to set it up so that I can trim this down about 30 thousandths of an inch. That's going to be interesting. All right, so it looks like I got it set up in here. Right here I got a little dial. It shows me how many thousandths I'm cranking that in. So that should be very helpful. Now this is an old lathe. There's stuff that wiggles and waggles a little bit. But you know what? For what we're doing, I think we're going to be okay. So I got her set where I think that's 5 thousandths of an inch. It's going to take off. I'm very slowly advancing it. Okay, so that's turned down. I'm going to put a mic on that and see what it is. That's nice and smooth. It's like polished. I went real slow. And this is my little gizmo right here. It tells me what I did. I did about 7 thousandths on this. So I did about 7 thousandths on that. I can barely read it with my bare eyes, but on the film you probably can't even see it. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good. Now I can leave this stuff. I'm going to leave that alone. So I'm going to get my little caliper out and see what that says. 5.4. So I'm closer. I went from 5.6 to 0.548. So I gotta get down to 0.53. And I dropped 2 thousandths by moving this 8. So it looks like I'll go to 10 and then we'll see what that does. Gotta keep things in my head is how far I'm getting each time I do this. So we'll go to 10, we'll see what it does. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So I gotta plug us back in. I wish we had a switch on this, but it was 3-phase and kind of just grabbed the motor off a conveyor we had out back and I threw it on there, so it works. Just runs a little faster than he likes, but... Alright, so I'm going to just go backwards with it. I'm going to set this at 10. I'm going to see if it'll just cut into it and go. What I got there is enough to measure. Let's do that. We'll do a little quick measurement. Now this seems like a lot of nightmare for one little fitting, but you know what? I can't find one. I can't find a reverse thread barb fitting. So I'm making one. I'm lucky I got a tool I can do it with. Ooh. That got me to 529. I think that's going to be close enough. I'm going to go across with that, and then we're going to tap it. Boy, I'm glad I checked it though. I actually kept going. I gotta make it a little wider than I originally had it, and it's taken off the whole thing, 30,000. Beautiful. All right. I think it worked. I don't know. Let's see. See if I can get that tap to go on it now. Get that in there as square as I can. Now this is supposed to be able to go on there. Let's see if it does. That goes on there now. So I'm going to spin this back around so I'm tapping from the right side of the tapered die. Otherwise that would be a problem. Alright, let's see. So if I put that on here, yeah, I got enough there to start it. Thing's pretty tight. Yeah, wish I had a better way to do this. Oh, that thing's too tight or what? I don't think it is. I think I just can't get it to go on because I got this thing set too tight. There, back it off, see what it does. Oh my goodness, come on. I guess I gotta tighten this. This is starting to frustrate me. Luckily I happen to have these pliers right here available. Actually, it looks like this tap is not going to go on there. Yeah, let me try something. I got one of these. Let's see. Is this tap the right size? It's got to be, right? It said 1/4 inch. All right, here it is. 1/4 inch. Yeah, that works. Okay. So, can I see a difference here? Well, that ought to go too. I just got to get it started, I guess. I don't know what the deal is, but it will not go on. I might have to turn it down further. Yeah, that's not going. Okay. Just a hair. Okay, back to the lathe. So this time I'm setting on 11, just like Spinal Tap. We turn our volume up to 11. And I'm going to give it a cut on the end, and then we'll measure it too, because I'm a little leery about this whole thing being too small, and then I'm I'm screwed. I mean, you can't make it bigger after that. By golly, that's wobbling in there. So that's a new issue, a wobble. It's got a wobble. Focus on that. This camera does not, it gets confused. It's very stupid. It takes a better picture than the other camcorder I used to use, but it doesn't seem to be real keen on staying focused. Here we go. We're gonna take just a little bit off it again. It had a very slight wobble, so now I've got an oblong pipe. But you know what? It's a threaded pipe anyway, and when I get goo on it and whatnot, it's gonna seal. So I'm not gonna panic over that. Oh, let me spin you guys around so you can see. I took it down. I mean, I just took it right down. Let's see what now we're at 0.514. So I took another, what would that be? About 6 thousandths off it. That ain't much, but maybe it's enough so I can actually thread it now. All right, let's see what happens. It's like it's trying, but it just won't go. Wow, it's like not even close. All right. Boy, the outer treads, it looks like it ought to go on there. I don't know why it's not. I don't know what's going on here with this tap. Geez, I thought the hard part would be the lathe work, but nope. This is all right. So 495 at this end, but that's the tapered end. 0.534. I mean, that's big. 0.518. And what do I got? 519. I mean, it's so close. Why won't 518? If I go down the tap, down to the bottom here, it's 513. So what's that mean? Take another 5 thousandths off? I guess. I guess so. Well, you know what they say. Some days you get the hen, some days you just get the feathers. So looks like it ought to start treading. I mean, it's right there. It just will not do it. If you guys know something I don't, put it in the comments. I love comments. And you know what? The channel's small enough, I can answer all your comments. And I do. I get on there. Anytime somebody leaves a comment, I reply. So I'm going to put this in a lathe again, turn it down some more. We'll see what happens. Okay, since I'm having all this trouble trying to get that tap on there, I'm going to try using this brace here. If I could just put it on there and get it started, and I'm just going to roll this by hand, but it'll keep me square, you know, so things will go together. I'm hoping. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I've never done this before, so I don't know. This might be a way to do it. Now, I realize this thing is for, like, if you're doing bar stock or something, I guess. Use this. To be honest, I don't know what it's for. I'm going to see if it works for this. If I can get it centered up good, get it right in there, that holds it right where I want to put it. I think it'll be, you know, it'll be better than my hand holding it, because I just don't seem to be getting it very well. That's got to go up a little bit. My head's probably in the way, isn't it? I'll have a little leeway anyway, because, you know, I'm not going to clamp it down, because normally this jig here would clamp to the bed. I'm not going to clamp it. I just want to see if it'll hold it straight enough. If I can hold it straight enough to get it started and draw it in. Might have to just give it a little love tap to get it where I need it to be. So I need a love tapper. Of course, when doing machine work, only use the finest machine hammers. Oh, see what happens. I think what I'll do is tighten these up a little more so it'll hold it nice and firm for me. But I got to find a wrench to do that now. All right, I gave it a little snug up. Let's see if this will hold it steady enough and start treading it. I don't know. I just don't know. I just push flat on it. It's like it's trying. Wish I had another way to do this. Wait a minute. I'll be back. Okay, since things are miking out right on my little nipple there, and it still won't go, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try pushing it with this a little bit. And that's hitting square right on that tap. And this is holding the tap in place, although this will slide, so this should move with it. So let's see what this does. It's offset, so that's not working. Okay. Yeah, I know it's going to happen. I'm going to turn it down more, and then it's going to be too small, and then it's not going to work either. Oh, what did I do? I got this in here. Okay. Nothing. Didn't go on at all. Man, that ought to go. It feels like it ought to go. I don't know. Boy, I need a machinist today. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Although, what's the fun in that? I love learning experiences. So I see now, I can stick that on there, and I can get it centered up on there. Then I'll make this work. And hopefully, that'll hold it enough to where it'll just tread on. I got it going straight on the nipple now. All right, now, if I put this over here, there we go. And that should just hold it, you know. Get that to hold it. That's there. There. Okay, let's see. Ha! Got it. It's pulling itself on now. Well, let's see what it looks like. Well, I got it started on this straight because as I turn it, it's not wobbling. So I probably can finish the rest of it with the hand tool now that I got it started. Looks like it might be just a little bit crooked. I don't know. Let's throw it in the vise, see if I can do it with the hand tool and be done with this project because it's getting old. I'm getting old. All right, let's see how much. Oh, that's tight. Oh. So it went on far enough to where I can get a good thread started. Ooh, looks a little rough. Boy, I never thought tapping a little piece of pipe would be such a nightmare. But I did notice that the shank was big. All right, got a little more. Boy, it's tight. Clean it out every time. Probably ought to put a little drop of oil on there. Yeah, gotta get some oil. And of course, the penetrant and lubricant of choice, PB blasters. I don't know, we'll see. All I want is a drop or two, and that's about what I got there. Stuff has gone up in price, man. Of course, what hasn't? I know I complain about price all the time on stuff, but you know, when everything just starts costing more, everything costs more. Oh, my card ran out, and I realized that I was just talking to myself. But anyway, just to sum this thing up, I got the tap on there almost all the way down, but not all the way. I can't do it. It just gets too tight. And when I go to put my fitting on, it only goes on like about not even a whole turn. I mean, it just goes on like that. So I'm going back to the lathe. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to turn it down some more, so at least I can get most of that fitting in there, because it's just got to be too big still, for whatever reason. That's the only reason I can't get the tap on, and I can't get the fitting on. And when I say tap, I really mean die, because that's a die, right? I don't know. If not, correct me. Leave me a comment. All right, well, I got her set back up, and I know it seems silly. I'm going to be cutting down on some treads and whatnot, but I don't know what else to do. It's still evidently too fat, even though my numbers seem to be right. Of course, you know, I don't have precision numbers, but how precise has it got to be? It's just pipe tap, so I'm going to turn this down, and then I'm going to try tapping it some more until I can get that fitting to go on there right. Here we go. Well, as far as I know, those threads are supposed to be tapered with that tap. So if I'm starting out too big, it's really got to be too big. I don't think I'm taking enough off. Well, I'm just going to leave it in there and see if I can't put the tap on there and turn it some more. Because I know it'll screw right on there like that now pretty easy. It should anyway. I don't think I took much off it. No, it's spinning it. Still tight. Still darn tight. Okay. Didn't take much off. I guess I got to take more off. That's all there is to that. Let's see how my fitting goes. little bit further, but not enough. I'm just gonna stop playing around. I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna take it downtown. All right, this went down I don't know what it is, 3/1000ths? Yeah, I think it is 3/1000ths. Which will be 6/1000ths of diameter, right? Whew, okay. Let's see what the fitting does. First off, the treads are pounded out flat, which means the inner root of the tread's probably not cut. So that's just going on the same exact way it did before. That seems pretty good. Let's see. Oh, it's still hard to turn, man. Gosh. Well, I'm gonna take it out of this. I don't know. Turn it down some more, I guess. Just spinning around in the chucks there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Well, that's going on almost far enough now. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it in a vise, and I'm going to run this tap on there, this die on there, and I think we're going to be pretty close to good enough. I don't want to take it down much more because I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. I'm going to go too far down and then it's going to be shot. All right, here we are again. All right, see if we can get this tap to go on there this time. Jeepers creepers. For a minute there, I thought I might have to come up with plan C. Now, last I knew, as far as tapping a pipe, you gotta go all the way to the bottom of the die. You gotta get the whole die. Can't just start with starting treads and not go all the way. Now it's turning. I think I'm getting her this time. But it's squawking at me. Just about there. All the way. Wow. Oh, that looks pretty good. Not real tapered, and the outer part of the treads are kind of choppy. Maybe I should use more lube. Oh, that'll work. Look at that. It's going right on there. That's just about perfect. Oh, I love it. Okay. Whew. Glad to see that. Well, what do you think? Was it worth going through all this? I do have my fitting now, if the camera will focus on it. I do have my fitting. It'll go together. I got a barb, and I got a reverse thread on this side that's going to do the trick. So I'll be able to put that in my regulator, and I'll be able to hook a hose to it from the other regulator. So I'll have my secondary regulator set up for the kegerator. So I'm pretty happy about that, but man, it took forever. I probably have, I don't know what time it is. Let's see. It is almost noon. I've got at least an hour and a half in this fitting. So couldn't find one, had to make one. But you know what was fun? Playing with the lathe. I really enjoyed that. So I don't know. Another skill, that'd be good. Just took my time, didn't get it going too fast, and just took little tiny nibbles. I think that's a lot of professionalism. There's a lot to knowing what you can get away with, believe it or not. And when you're a professional, you know, I'm not with the lathe whatsoever. So I took my time, I took it very slow. A professional probably would crank this out in minutes instead of an hour and a half. But I don't happen to have a professional at my disposal. So anyway, let's see how the paint's doing. Okay, it's been a couple hours in this chilly old barn. Well, 55's not too chilly when it's only 30 outside, so that's like 33, just above freezing. It's slowly drying, and it will be dry by tomorrow. Looking like it's gonna come out okay. I did decide to only make them single ply. I was gonna double them, all that, blah, 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 but I'm not gonna. They're not big shelves. They don't need to support a lot of weight. So I've got these done on this side. I got to flip them over, paint the bottom side so people looking under there won't see that. These guys will be mostly hidden, but they've got nice paint on them. And what I'll do is I'm going to put them on the wall, hang these, and put little 2-hole strap clamps on them, and I think that'll be that. So I gotta paint the other sides of these too. It's just about noon, it's Christmas Eve. If I get this video up, I'll be able to wish you a Merry Christmas for tomorrow. And if I don't, if it takes a day or two, I hope you had a great Christmas. So either way, Merry Christmas. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. So celebrate the birth of our Lord and have a great Christmas. And you know what? I'll see you on the next one.